Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namasarvebhya. We were seeing about the history of Vedic literature. What are the four Vedas? What is the history behind for those four Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana Veda? The definition for each Vedas, about what all those four Vedas are discussing, all those things we have seen in the previous classes. Let's discuss about the part of the Vedas. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana Veda, all those four Vedas are divided by Maharishi Vedavyasa for the sake of easy learning. He keeping everything in his mind with Vedavyasa, in the future the Veda Parampara must be protected. The vast Veda which is eternal, which is Anadi, Apurusheya, and which describes about the God which is the supreme truth. To protect that Veda in the future, even now the Kali Yuga is now going on. In the previous Yuga, Dwapara Yugante, as already discussed at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, Maharishi Vedavyasa himself divided a vast, big Veda into four. And he gave each Veda to each Rishi, Paila Maharishi, Vaishampayana, Jaimani, Sumantu. For all those four Rishis, he gave the Upadesha, Mantropadesha. Later, all those four Rishis started making many shakhas into it. So, all what those four Vedas are containing. So, about what those are discussing as the prayers, which all those stanzas, those mantras in the Rigveda are the prayers which worships, which glorifies all the devatas in this universe. That is Rigveda. Then Yajurveda tells about the yagas and yajnas, how to perform, what are the mantras supposed to be used for which devata, which mantra, and what mantras were to vinyoga of those mantras. So completely that discusses about the yagas and yajnas and ceremonials, how to perform those things. Then Samaveda is musical notes which supposed to be sung during the yajnas, during the sacred rites. And Atharva Veda, it tells about the materialistic thing, to gain the materialistic benefits in this universe. What are the mantras we need to apply to please those gods? So all these four mantras are helping us to understand and to gain the Purushartha Chatushtayam, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Okay, so we discussed already. Now, each and every Vedas are having the four parts. What are they? See, Rik, Yajus, Sama, Atharvakhyan, Vedan, Purvadibhir Mukhaihi, Shastram, Idyam, Stuti, Stomam, Prayaschittam, Vedhat, Kramat. In Srimad Bhagavata, what it discusses about. So slowly we can having little deep knowledge regarding these four Vedas, what totally discuss. Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharvakhyan, Vedan, Purvadibhihi, Mukhaihi, Shastram. What is the Vishaya? Rigvedasya Vishayaha kaha? Rigvedasya Vishaya tu Shastram. Atra apragita mantrasadhya stutihi shastram ityuchyate. Shastram ityukte kimapi weapon iti navagantavyam. Shastram ityukte weapon eva, tat ekam ayudham eva, parantu apragita mantrasadhya stutihi. What all the Rigveda mantras are doing means it is doing the stuti, glorifying, appraising the devatas. Shastram Idyam. Idya Yajurveda. Yajurvedasya Vishayaha kaha? Idya Yadushaha Vishayaha. Yajna karma. Yajna karma sampadanartham prayuktaha Vedaha. Idya Yajna karma Yadushaha Vishayaha. Then Stutihi Samavedasya Vishayaha. Samaveda also glorifying all the gods, appraising, and it is chanting the mantras which are appraising and glorifying and singing the greatness of all those devatas. So Stutihi Samavedasya Vishayaha. Prayaschittam cha Atharva Vedasya Vishayaha. Prayaschitta karmani ye santi. How to perform the prayaschitta if any mistake done or any karmanushtanam we couldn't do on the right time, if the time exceeded, but the karma is supposed to be performed, at the time what are the prayaschittas supposed to be done? If any mistakes happen, then to rectify it, we need to perform another karma, that is the prayaschitta karma. Even in our sandhyavandana kriya, sandhyavandana karma, right time we need to give the argyam. At morning, early morning, sandhya samaye, even when the stars are visible, at the time we need to do the arghya pradhanam for the Savita, the god. But after the sunrise, if we perform that sandhya vandana supposed to be performed, that arghya pradhana, the time exceeded, yet we are giving prayaschitta argyam. So the karma, if we left without performing, means we supposed to perform because that karma is supposed to be performed. If it is done later, then it must add the prayaschitta for all our mistakes, the wrongs, the fault, whichever we are making knowingly or unknowingly. For sarva prayaschittam is there. To perform those prayaschittas, how to do, what are the prayaschittas are mentioned as per the Vedas, everything we can understand after seeing the Atharva Veda. So, Prayaschittam cha Atharva Vedasya Vishayaha. So, 4 Vedas are telling different Vishayas. The text of each Veda is of 4 parts. So, each Veda, Rig Veda, having 4 parts. Yajurveda text is available, that is inside divided into 4 parts. Then Samaveda Vishaya also divided into 4 parts. And Atharva Veda. So commonly we can understand there are 4 parts of Vedas which is applicable for all those 4 Vedas. The first part is Samhita. Samhita ityukte mantram. Mananat rayate iti mantram. By chanting that protects us. Mantranam samuha is called as Samhita, the first part. Samhita. Anantaram, Brahmanam is the second part of the Veda. So all Vedas containing these 4 parts in it. In Rig Veda, the Samhita Bhagam is called as a Rig Veda Samhita. Then Yajurveda, the Samhita Bhagam is called as a Yajurveda Samhita. Same in Samaveda and Atharvana Veda also. So the 4 parts of Vedas applicable to all those 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana Veda. There the Brahmana Bhagam, what it discuss? Mantra, Karma, Viniyoganam, Vyakhya. In the Brahmana Bhaga, it tells about how to perform the rituals. All our ceremonial, those sacrifices are there, no? The rituals, how to perform those samskaras. It tells about which mantra, where it's supposed to be used, where the vinyoga of that mantra is, in the altar, if it's a normal Ganapati Homam or any small ritual at our house. For that also vidhi is there. Yeah, big homas like Darshapurnamasa Yaga, Aswamedha, those Yaga Yajnas also having all the rules. It's supposed to be performed and these mantras need to be applied and these are all the gods need to be invoked for that sacrifice. So Brahmana Bhaga of each Veda, it is discussing about the mantra, karma, what are the karmas are assigned and which mantra need to be applied, where the vinyoga of it tells. Then another part is Aranyakam. Aranyakam is the Bhaga, Aranye Pathitum Vihitaha Veda Bhagaha. Those parts, those mantras which are supposed to be recited in the forest. So these mantras, who used to live in the forest? All the rishis in their Tritiya Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama, they completely fed up with samsara jivanam, and they come out and taking the Vanaprastha Ashrama and living in the forest, and they used to do the upasanas. So Aranye Pathitum Vihitaha Veda Bhagaha Aranyakam. So all Vedas are having the part that is known as the Aranyakam, which are fit to be chanted, practiced, and in those mantras what karma it is mentioning to perform the yagas, that must be applied, the upasanas that must be applied there in the Vanaprastha. So Aranyaka Bhagam is there. And the last part is known as Upanishad. What the Upanishad part of the Vedas are informing means Adhyatma Vidya Rahasya Pratipadakaha Veda Bhagaha. Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma Vidya means what is Atma. So all are having the question, who am I? Who am I means whether the question says the I stands for the body or the soul. Then what is the difference between body and soul? Which is permanent and which is impermanent? Then what is the difference between Jivatma and Paramatma? What is the secret behind birth and death? What is the need of the soul which supposed to get the salvation, which should not completely trapped into the chain of the birth, in the cycle of birth and death. So it completely discusses about who is the supreme being. The Paramatma means who is God Paramatma, in which akara he is, how great the Paramatma is. Then the difference between the Jivatma and Paramatma, all the secrets are revealed in the Upanishad. That's why Vedanti, it's called as Upanishads are the last bhagam of all the Vedas. That's why the Upanishad is the main bhaga. All the Vedantam, it is also known as the Vedantam. In the Vedanta, the discussion completely tells about Adhyatma Vidya. It completely reveals all the secret about the Adhyatmam, Atma, Paramatma, Jivatma, what all the differences between these things. Sometimes there is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Likely many philosophies are there. So for all the philosophies, their ultimate destination is the moksha, the salvation. This Upanishad gives us the right knowledge, appropriate knowledge. So these four bhagas, if we just look at Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam, Upanishad, there the Samhita bhaga is a collection of all the mantras which are praising and glorifying all the devatas, and the Brahmana bhagam are the rules to perform yagas and yajnas, all the sacred rites beginning from the rituals, the samskaras which are performed from our house, and it must be performed at the temples and a big level, yajnas till the Ashwamedha. Then Aranyakam is the bhaga which are fit to be chanted in the forest while living in the forest in the third ashrama, and the Upanishad, the fourth ashram. So each are connected with the 4 ashramas. 4 ashramas means Brahmacharya ashrama. Next, yes, Grihastha ashrama. Then third one, Vanaprastha ashrama, and the fourth one, Sannyasa ashrama. So just apply, attach these both, connect these two. Samhita bhagam is a mantra bhaga which are learned when the brahmachari is doing the Vedadhyayana. He is knowing all the mantras of the devatas, how to invoke those gods, how to appraise those gods. All those collection of those mantras he is learning. Then after Grihastha when he getting marriage and entering into the Grihastha, the dharma in the Grihastha dharma supposed to be followed to perform all those rites, rituals which supposed to be done in the Grihastha. This Brahmana bhagam helps him to perform all those rituals, all the samskaras, Jata karma, Nama karma, Annaprasana, Chaula, Karna Bhushana, likely all those samskaras are there, no? He is making it. Then later, after living a long samsarika jivana, also obtaining all the materialistic luxuries, pleasures, at one time he is feeding up all these things. These are all enough. I have enjoyed a lot and this much is enough for me. Let me get into the spiritual path so that my ultimate destination, that is the salvation, let me begin my journey towards it, entering into the Vanaprastha. Then at the Vanaprastha, the upasanas, any one god is needed. You need to keep any one god and started doing the upasana of that god to gain the knowledge as well as practicing the Vanaprastha dharma. Aranyaka bhagam helping him to get that such knowledge. And the last one, Sannyasa ashrama, Upanishad bhaga helps him to understand about the secret of birth and death. What happens after the death? He understands, and I should not waste my time. I should never let my soul to get the new body. It's supposed to united with the Paramatma. So this Upanishad bhaga helps him. So these 4 Veda bhagas are helping a person in each ashrama, each stages of the man's life. Brahmacharya ashrama, Grihastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama and Sannyasa ashrama. These Veda bhagas itself helping him to understand his dharma, to perform all the anushtanams. Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya Anushtanams he is supposed to perform. So Veda bhagas are guiding him to perform his duties. Let's understand Samhita bhagam are mantras. Already as a one-liner we have seen, all are hymns, mantras. The Samhita portion refers to the passages which are the mantras of praise required to be recited or sung during the performance of sacred rites. Darsha Purnamasa Yaga is there, Soma Yaga is there, Ashwamedha, Rathamedha. This kind of many Yaga Yajnas whenever performed, we need to call all the gods by praising them. So the Rigveda mantras, the Samhita portion of all the Vedas must be recited. That's why any Veda Parayana means they start with Samhita. Even the Chaturveda Parayanam, it begins with those mantras, Agnimile, Purohitam, Ishet, Vorjetva, likely Agnaya, Hivitaye, Shanno Devi, Mishtaye, likely all Veda mantras, when it comes to the Veda Parayanam, the Samhita portion of all Vedas are being recited during the performance of all sacred rites, whether at house, temple, mutts. The mantras are creative in spirit and highly poetic in form. Then comes Brahmana Bhagam, ritualistic exposition. The Brahmana portion refers to the passages that are explanatory of the ritualistic aspect of the hymns. So many mantras are there. Those mantras are being chanted during the performance of sacred rites. But all those sacred rites, how to perform, how to make the altar, how to keep all kind of ajya patram, srivam, prokshani patram, arghya patram, and how to keep the samidhu anna ajam in the sacred fire. What are the dravyas supposed to be offered in the altar? If you are performing yaga, yajna, homa, all are devatodeshena dravyatyagaha yagaha. We are sacrificing our dravyas in the holy fire, in the altar, for the sake of the God. So Agni is the Lord who collects everything, who purifies all our dravyas, and he delivers our dravyas to all the devatas. That's why we are connecting with the God through the fire. All those 5 elements are there. We are connecting with each element. We can see all those are devatas. Agni is a devata. We can easily see the devata, which purifies everything, cleanses everything. Right? So this Brahmana Bhaga helps us which mantra supposed to be used while performing this yajna. For example, if it is a Ganapati Homa for the sake of Ganapati, you are doing the Homa and you are offering many dravyas, whichever favorite for the Ganapati, like Modakam, Laddu, all those dravyas you are offering in the altar, in the holy fire. At the time, what are the mantras need to be recited? Which mantra, where it's Viniyoga. This Brahmana Bhaga helps us. Also, to fulfill our wishes, which yaga is supposed to be performed. That also need no. Ejeta swarga kamaha. Somalata yagena ishtam bhavayet. If you wish to fulfill your ishtam, your wish, then you need to do the Soma Yaga. There to Somalata is supposed to be applied. It must be offered. Likely many words are there, and the Brahmana Bhaga mantras are guiding us to perform the right yaga, means right approach, so that we can fulfill all our needs, our materialistic needs, by pleasing the devatas. So this Brahmana Bhaga is completely ritualistic exposition. Then comes the Aranya Bhaga, the third Bhaga, which we need to, mantras that need to be recited in the forest, in the Vanaprastha. It tells about the theologies. The Aranyaka portion, mantras are concerned with the rites to be performed by a man in his Vanaprastha, focused on internal sadhanas. It tells how to perform the sadhanas, how to do the upasana of all the devatas, how to do the Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Yoga sutra you have learned. In that yoga, those yogic performances, practices are being performed in this Vanaprastha ashrama. He is making himself ready to do this yoga sadhana. So completely in that Vanaprastha ashrama, the man who is in his Vanaprastha ashrama will do the practices of all these yogas. So through his yogic powers, he can gain the power of doing his upasana more. Through his activities, the performance of yogas, also through the knowledge, he is pleasing the God. Then comes the fourth part of the Veda is Upanishad, philosophical treatises. The Upanishad portion represents the final stage containing the philosophical doctrines. Completely discuss the philosophy. Again, the Samhita consists of mantras to be recited in various sacrifices. All sacrifices, Whether it is a ritualistic Havir Yajnam, Paka Yajnam, Stoma Yajnam, threes are there, three different yajnas are there. Avihir Yajnam, Samit, Annam, Ajyam. So these are all the three important padarthas, means the dravyam supposed to be offered in the altar. So Samit, keeping the Samit, the fire stick, and performing the yajna. Annam means the havis. Then Ajyam. So sir, the Paka Yajna is there. Havir Yajnas are there. For all the yajnas, what are the mantras need to be recited? The Samhita Bhaga consists of those mantras to perform those sacrifices. So during the sacrifices, during the performance of all those sacrifices, the devatas need to be summoned. For pleasing those gods, we need to praise those gods using the Samhita mantras, which are glorifying those gods. Then the Brahmana Bhaga contains the explanation of the mantra and practical direction. Where to do, when to do, how to do, what dravya is supposed to be used in that homa, which devata need to be summoned, at the time what kind of padarthas need to be collected, and how much duration, how much time we need to take it, everything that gives the complete guidelines of performing the yaga yajnas. Also practical directions for the conduct of sacrifices. They further explain the duties to be performed by the four priests. Here we need to understand. The four people will come, four priests will come whenever yaga yajna, means a homa, whether it's a samskara homas, means in our rituals, household rituals, from the birth to death, samskaras are vihitam for us. Our birth is there, jata karma, namakarana is there. It begins with the simantonayanam, pumsuvana simantonayanam, it is happening. Even after the birth of a child, this samskaras begin. There, in this brahmacharya ashrama, when the seventh age, the upanayana samskara is there. There, the boy is taking the mantropadesha, Gayatri mantropadesha, also the Samhita Dhanam, he gets the Agni. Okay, so all the rituals you might have observed, the four Ritvijas, Ritviks, they used to come to our house and perform. If Ganapati Homa means these four Ritviks supposed to come, because each Ritvik represent a Veda. So if you are performing any yagas and yajnas at our house, whether it's a normal ritual or big ritual, the Ritvijas are very, very important. Four Ritvijas need to be summoned by the Ejamana. Ejamana who is offering, sponsoring that yaga. He is supposed to call these four Ritviks. Each Ritvik is representing of that Veda. See, who are all those Ritvijas? Hota, Adhvaryu, Udgata, Brahma. Hota, he represents the Rigveda. He is a Rigvedin who chants the Rigveda mantras and summons all the gods, praising all the gods. Then Adhvaryu, he represents the Yajurveda as per the instruction of the Yajurveda, who make all the arrangements to perform those sacrifices. Udgata is another Ritvik, represents the Samaveda, who sings the Samaveda mantras and pleases the gods with his soothing voice and with the beautiful musical notes of Samaveda. And the Brahma is the one of the Ritvik, represents the Atharva Veda, who is the supervisor, complete controller of everything. All the above three Ritviks are performing their work or not, and if any doubts happen, this the fourth one, the Brahma, who is the supervisor and a controller, he will rectify the mistakes and clear all the doubts, and he will ensure from the beginning to end, the yajna finished well, completed well. And the third part of Aranyakam contain instructions for meditation. How to do meditation, how to do the yogas. Aranyaka mantras are meant for the pious men who have retired to the forest and no longer perform sacrifices. Here, in the Samsarika Jivana, in the Grihasthashrama, after seeing all ups and downs, sukham, dukkham, everything, a man, when he completely fed up and got tired of this materialistic problems and wishes to start his journey and entering into the Tritiya Ashrama, Vanaprastha here there is no importance of performing again those samskara rituals and sacrifices he is supposed to perform in Vanaprastha also. He can, instead of performing those yaga yajnas, he can perform the yoga sadhanas because he is doing the upasana. So all those yaga yajnas, instead of even those yaga yajnas, he can perform the yogic practices that Aranyaka guides. The Upanishad mantras are devoted entirely to theological and philosophical speculations on the nature of the things. Hope you have understood all the meaning, what each parts of the Vedas are discussing. See, the Samhita and Brahmana portions together known as a Karma Kandam. So, Brahmana Bhagam is a ritualistic exposition and Samhita Bhagam is a collection of mantras. So, with the collection of mantras, we can perform all the rituals at our house or temple or the mat. These both are known as Karma Kandam. So, most of the mantras from these two bhagas from all the Vedas are used at our household rituals, even in temple. Then Aranyakam portions are known as a Upasana Kandam. From all the Vedas, the third part, Upasana Kandam, means the Aranyaka is known as the Upasana Kandam, through which mantras the sadhaka can perform those upasana of the deities and he can do the yogic practices. And the last part is known as the Upanishad. Those mantras are known as Jnana Kandam, which shows the right path towards the salvation by removing our ignorance with the supreme knowledge, the right knowledge. So that makes us to realize about the self. So first self-realization happens. Then God realization happens. Then he knows the secret of the Atma and he tries to get the salvation, which is the supreme destination. That's why it is Jnana Kandam. Upanishad, the Vedanta Bhagam is the Jnana Kandam that gives the knowledge which we need. That is the supreme knowledge. Even Bhagavan himself in the shape of the knowledge, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Bhagavan, that Paramatma, we are seeing the Archavatara Murti in all the temples, having the two eyes, face, or as we are seeing the God also like us and showing our bhakti. Bhagavan in which Swarupa means there are a lot of Swarupa. Veda also trying a lot to describe about the Swarupa of that Paramatma. Sahasra Sirisha, Purusha in Purusha Sukta tells the Paramatma, the God who is having the 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 legs. So even Veda also can't completely cover about the Swarupa of that Paramatma, means that Paramatma, the God, he is the supreme one, he is the supreme truth. Also, he is the supreme bliss. That's why the Upanishad Bhaga gives such right knowledge for us, and that makes us to find our purpose of the life. What is the purpose of the life? If a normal person, ordinary person, if you ask, what is your purpose of life? He say, I supposed to get good knowledge and crack all those exams, getting the government job, other job, getting much salary, 7-digit salary or 8-digit salary we can say, and getting a car, bungalow, good wife, children. These are all common. But he is supposed to know about the main purpose of this birth. When the birth is certain, the death is certain. But we can apply our mind, intellect, and we can gain such knowledge. By getting which knowledge, there is no again rebirth. That is Adhyatma Jnanam, that Upanishad gives such knowledge. By knowing, by attaining such supreme knowledge, and by practicing as it mentioned there, through those sadhanas, through the knowledge power, a man is moving towards the salvation, which is very important. So Vedas helps us to gain all those Purushartha Chatushtayas. Dharmam supposed to be performed. Through dharma we need to gain the artha. With the artha we need to again have the desire to perform the dharma. By doing all these things, then the fourth one, the Purushartha Chatushtaya, the fourth one is the moksha, the salvation, that definitely happens. For that the Vedas are guiding us to get that knowledge, the supreme knowledge. That's why Upanishad Bhagam is known as Jnana Kandam. Veda Chatushtaya Prabhutataya Pradipaditaha Vishayaha. What it says about karma, jnanam, upasana cheti, trividha abhyupagamyate. We can understand the karma, what kind of karma we need to do. Karma, it says the karma, do your own nitya karma. Then naimittika karma, kamya karma. As it is mentioned in the Vedas, do your work, do your duty. How to do? The karma is the action, that is a selfless action. Without the sense of the doership in your mind, you need to perform the karma as it is assigned to you. As a human, we need to keep on performing the good karmas, which are the dharma pradipaditam, Veda pradipadita karmas we need to perform. So Veda, all those Vedas are making us to go in the right path. What karma kandam? If I do karma kanda, aihika phalam and amushmika phalam, both I can gain. Ishta sadhana bhutanam, yajna karma vidhinam, vivaranam, everything are discussed in the karma kandam. To gain the aihika phalam and amushmika phalam. Ihaloke, all the luxuries I need to gain. For that we need to perform these dharmas, so that performing we can get the blessings of the God, and we gain by performing those dharmas. Then Jnana Kandam, Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Janaka Moksha Sadhana Tattvajnanasya Vivechanam. This Jnana Kandam, it tells about the Tattvajnanam. Which is the Tattvajnanam? Tattvajnanam tells about Atyantiki Dukkha Nivrittihi Moksha Dukkha Nivrittihi. Here Sukham Dukkham both comes again and again and again. Both are plain pleasure. It's a dual. Heat and cold, dual. Success, failure, dual. This dvandam always there. But we need to be having equal. We need to follow the neutral. Not success, or neither success or nor failure can disturb me, because I am having the equanimity, equal mind. So to gain such knowledge, we need to have the knowledge of this Jnana Kandam, the Vedas, what Upanishads are telling. We need to listen to it. Not only listening, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. We need to even take everything into our practice, so that we can go towards after gaining this Tattva Jnanam, then definitely we can reach our supreme destination. Then the Upasana Kandam is that. The Upasana Kandam, what it says, the Upasana Kandam, in the Vanaprastha, they do all kind of yogic practices and doing Upasana of all the deities, Surya Upasana. If Surya is a Devata, I am taking that Surya Devata as a god, which is the Pratyaksha Devata, I am doing Upasana. So, Laukika Paramarthika Ubhaya Vidha Abhishta Anubandhi Bhagavad Bhakti Nirupanam, that doing the Bhakti only. Paying our Bhakti, devotion towards that God through the Upasanas. So, these four things, Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam, Upanishad, these four parts are there for all the Vedas. Each Vedas are having these four parts. Rigveda means Rigveda Samhita, Rigveda Brahmanam, Rigveda Aranyakam, Rigveda Upanishad. If it is Yajurveda means Yajurveda Samhita, Yajurveda Brahmanam, Yajurveda Aranyakam, Yajurveda Upanishad. Samaveda also same, Samaveda Brahmanam, Samaveda Aranyakam, Samaveda Upanishad, Atharva Veda Brahmanam, Atharva Veda Samhita, Atharva Veda Aranyakam, Atharva Veda Upanishad. So, in this class we have discussed about the four parts of all the Vedas. In upcoming class, we will be discussing what are the mantras are there in the Rigveda, how Rigveda Samhita means how many shakhas are there for the each Vedas. Already after dividing the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, this Vasishtha Maharishi has given these Vedas to respective Shishyas like Jaimani Rishi, who received the Samaveda and made many shakas. Likely all Vedas are having different shakas. So regarding all those things in detail we will be seeing in the upcoming class. Dhanyavadaha, Namo Namaha.